There's something so innocent about present moment awareness. Especially in the middle of the afternoon, and all of a sudden it's like real quiet. And you wonder, how did it get so quiet? It's the middle of the day. And then you realize it's not so much that it's quiet, it's that somehow, through some miracle, the mind has become quiet. The heart has become open. And in this space of present moment awareness, all things are possible. So welcome. Thank you for being here. There's this sense of it's a sense of not knowing, a sense of unknowing. A sense of letting go of the way you thought it was supposed to be, the way you think it's supposed to go, the way you think it's been, the way you think it is. Welcome, Brandolyn. Thank you for being here. It's when we let go of all the ideas, all the preconceptions, all the assumptions, all the stories, all the beliefs. Welcome, Jane. We let go of the attachment to all of that. We open up to the magic and the miracle of what is. We become anchored in a sense of wondrousness, in a sense of amazement. All the guideposts fall away, and we become what we are. We become what we are. There's a song that goes, what you see is what you are, and what you are is beautiful now. So what we see is what we are, and what we are is beautiful. You know, we become what we are. What a beautiful name. Samun Diswari Thiru Vishai. Namaste and welcome. So there's this pure, profound peace, love, freedom, and empowerment of being. That transcends and includes all that is. Unconditional relationship with the moment. Jane says some great stuff happening since week 1 session. So we have a secret, the Secret Glow, an online community, a private Facebook group where I'm working with people, and Jane's a part of that group, and you're welcome to join us too. I think the link is in here. If not, I'll post it for people to join us. And tell us what's been happening for you, Jane. How you've been opening and expanding. Because I'm finding it difficult to speak. I'm too kind of blissed out right now. The words, it's such it's like this linear thing, words, and this ground of being is non-linear. It's acausal. So even to talk, it gets to a point where it's a bit silly because words are lining things up in a linear construct of cause and effect, where what I'm pointing at is non-linear and acausal. It's now. It's always now. The invitation is always now. It's always now. All it ever is now. All it ever is now. So poetry really becomes the closest. Poetry kind of brings you more into the moment, brings you more into the essence of this moment right now. This moment right now is where the magic is. So every single concept, every single idea, every single belief, every single story, all of it needs to go. Which brings me to a email I recently wrote, which I would like to share with you. This was written to an elder in the spiritual world, a spiritual teacher who's somewhat well known, and he asked me why I no longer call myself a spiritual teacher. So, I'll share this, I'll post this actual letter online as well, but I'm going to read it to you right about now. So I wrote, I like, quote, spiritual in the sense of knowing who one really is as pure awareness beyond thought. I like it in the sense of self-realization. I think the biggest thing for me is that the term feels too limiting and just not that fun. It feels heavy, overly serious, oddly dualistic, and too tied to religion. Fun, freedom, expansiveness, creativity, exploration, and celebration of existence itself feel like the highest priorities for me right now. For me, from a non-dual awareness, to create this division, to say this is spiritual, this is not spiritual, then try to subtly conform oneself, which I have done at times in the past, reinforced by the collective, to what the mind deems as spiritual, while repressing and suppressing what is seen as unspiritual, quote unquote, seems totally unnecessary. So let's unpack that just for a moment. So the space of non-dual awareness is the absolute truth. You open to a space of non-dual awareness, which means there's not two. Everything is of the one divine infinite light. This is the truth, the absolute realization that, from my perspective, Jesus pointed to, and Buddha pointed to, and Ramana Maharshi pointed to, and Krishnamurti pointed to, and Eckhart Tolle pointed to, and Meister Eckhart pointed to, and all these different teachers, and Rumi pointed to, and Walt Whitman pointed to. They're pointing to this non-dual awareness, this non-dual realization of the absolute truth. Okay, then absolute truth transcends and includes all duality, but it transcends all duality. It's deeper than any sense of polarity, of any sense of two, including spiritual and not spiritual. To say something spiritual means something is not spiritual. But really, if you're going to use the term spiritual, it's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. Every single moment, every single second, every single thing you look at, every single thing you see. Whether you're sitting in a church or a mosque or synagogue, or you're sitting on the toilet and you're pooping, or you're sitting in the kitchen and you're talking to your son or your daughter or your mother or your father, or you're talking to a stranger, or you're making love, or you're eating breakfast, or you're walking down the street, or you're looking at the clouds, or you're looking at butterflies, or you're looking at birds, or you're looking at a rattlesnake, or you're looking at the midnight sky in which you see yourself reflected. It's all one divine infinite light. And it's all happening right now. It's all now. So, when you recognize that, there's no need to try to conform yourself to being spiritual. There's no reason to try to conform yourself to being religious. You are the essence of all that is now, always, and forever. And this is the true empowerment. This is the true empowerment, to rest and reside in this absolute fundamental truth of who you are, to recognize and realize who you really are. And then nobody can tell you you're any different. Nobody can tell you any kind of story or belief or idea of anything that's other than the essence of who you are. You're resting, you're anchored in this fundamental absolute truth, and then you express yourself in the world of duality from this space. So, back to what I wrote. To try to slowly conform oneself, which I have done at times in the past, reinforced by the collective. So to try to conform to what's seen as spiritual, reinforced by the collective, meaning that's what everyone else is doing, and that's what they're wanting you to do, and they're gonna kind of shame you and maybe blame, put some kind of guilt trip on you if you don't. So there's that sense of wanting to conform, right? Wanting to conform to the belief systems of the authoritarian system, whether it's a religious system or a new age spiritual system or a political system or an education system or whatever the system is. It doesn't really matter. This has been the cause of tremendous amounts of shame and guilt and blame and suffering all around the world. I think that this mental division has been causing suffering in people much more than it has been helping them to transcend it. And the biggest aspect of the shame and the guilt and the self-loathing from the spiritual religious paradigm is really on the sexual level. Which I've talked about before, I'm going to be talking about more, the sense of sexual repression of something that's innate and natural inside ourselves to feel it as sinful or shameful or guilty is totally and absolutely ridiculous. And the notion that if you suppress and repress this energy, it's somehow going to bring you closer to God is even more completely utterly ridiculous. You are one with God now. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We are one with the absolute essence of all that is now. And what we do or don't do doesn't change that. So to recognize and realize this truth is liberating, to say the least. It opens you up to rest in the absolute essence of who and what you are. And there's a profound sense of self-love that opens from this place, not just for yourself, but for existence itself, for existence itself, for this moment, for the joy of what's arising in this moment, right now, and the reflections that you're able to share, that you have the gift of sharing this moment with. Back to the letter. To see the divine in all that is, to be unconditionally in love with this moment, however it arises, this is what excites me. That is what excites me, and that's what I'm interested and passionate about sharing. To see the divine, the sacred, the spiritual, the holy, the God consciousness in all that is, and to be unconditionally in love with this moment, however it arises. This is what excites me. To be clear, I am in no way trying to tell others what they should do or give their energy to. I am just sharing what is a personal shift for me. May others feel free to explore or devote themselves to whatever they want, including traditional religion, if they feel it is benefiting them. That's absolutely 100% true. So whatever you're doing, whatever path you're following, if it's working for you, stay with it. Keep doing it. You know, it's just a personal reflection of what's happening where I'm at in my journey. If they feel it's benefiting them. I am not interested in saving the world, nor do I feel it really needs to be saved. So there used to be this energy in me of like, you know, we need this. I need to save the world. I need to, you know, try to change it, make things better. Which is, I think, somewhat of a natural evolution when you're young, a young man. You know, the sense of saving the world. I have another younger brother. I see in that same space, really trying to, you know, be the one that's going to save the world, that's going to turn it around. And from this space of non-dual realization, from the space of the awakening to the absolute truth, there's nothing that needs to be saved, and there's no problem. There's a joy of creative energy, of creating transformation, but not from a space of lack consciousness, not from a space of something being wrong, not from a space of people have done things wrong, or things need to be rectified, or there's something that needs to be changed, or there's something that's a sense of need, of necessity, right? It's more of a space of being connected to the universal creative intelligence, and this creative energy moves through you, and there's a joy of creation, right? When you have a blank canvas and you're a painter, you paint the canvas and you paint something incredibly beautiful on the canvas. You don't create it because there's something wrong with the canvas. It's just for the joy of creating itself. You see what I'm saying? So we're not creating a new world because there's something wrong, because the world needs to be saved. We're creating something for the joy of creative energy itself, for the joy of creative expression itself. It's coming from this depth of empowerment, this depth of absolute love, absolute unconditional love, absolute unconditional freedom, and this ground of peace, and moving from this space, expressing oneself from this space. So it's also new. In a way, it's difficult to even answer the question. I'm not sure where it's all going. Yes, it does feel quite exciting and liberating. It doesn't feel like a change of direction as much as it feels like a moving forward, a next level, or maybe just a waking down, a relaxing to the freedom of non-dual awareness as it expresses itself in the mundane world right now. Many blessings to you, my friend. I hope you are well. The end. So, when you awaken to the space that's beyond the beyond, as we say, beyond the beyond of any beyond, then what's the word you can put to it? What's the label you can put to it? What's the dogma you can put to it? What's the belief system you can put to it? It's beyond all of that, you know? It's here right now. It's the ever-present I am. It's that which never changes. It's unlimited potentiality. It's the 0 point. It's post-spiritual consciousness. Post-spiritual consciousness. There's no longer any need for any reference point. Whether you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. There's no longer any need for external. That's funny, Jenny. There's no longer any need for external reference points. There's no longer any need for someone to save you or something to save you. That's critical to understand and realize. There's no longer anything that needs to be saved. Jane wrote, anxiety diminishing, new connections coming into my life in the form of people and opportunities, more work coming in, my fear around money has shifted. By asking the question, if anything's possible, what would the universe love to create through me? It's been a great week. So that's a question I had people ask, is if anything's possible, what would the universe love to create through you? And we had that ask in our private Facebook group called The Secret Glow, and Jane's sharing her testimonial of the transformations that's happened for her in that group, and you're welcome to join us. Let's see if I can put the I'll put the link in there. Brandon says, thank you for being a mouthpiece, broadcasting the heart of heaven, allowing yourself to be a conduit. I appreciate sharing this time with all of you. Jane says, sometimes just a feeling, the energy works without words. Definitely, for sure, the energy is what's most important. This presence that we share is what's most important, and it's actually important not to get too caught up in the words. The words are just words. They're like poetry, you know? They're pointing to something that's behind the words, something that's deeper than the words themselves. But it's a really exciting time to be alive right now. There's so much opening and awakening. There's so much shifting and breaking out that's happening. And as I was talking about last week, you know, it's really a time for the individual creative expression to move through us, you know. And the more we awaken to this infinite essence of who we are, then the more freedom there is to express this innate essence of who we are in this world without limitation. From the pure ground of being. Let's just make a space if anyone has any questions or comments to share right now. And meanwhile, I'll say, if you want to delve in further with me with personal sessions or personal session packages, if you want to pick up the books, you can go to my website. There's a couple of retreats coming up, in-person retreats, and you can register for those still. There's the Secret Glow community, which I just mentioned and put a link up for. And there's lots of other ways to plug in. I'm doing these videos more regularly now, which has really been fun. Feeling kind of a sense of fire, feeling on fire, feeling one with the creative fire of the universe. So feel free to message me privately if you are looking for ways to plug in. Kindle, yes, they should be on Kindle. Yeah. There's also the course From Anxiety to True Empowerment, which you can take. That's on the website too. If there's any question about anything you want to find out how to plug in deeper, then just private message me and can make some space to support you in that. Let's take a few deep breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you all so much for being here.